Yeah, this is Bang Bang Rail. Years ago, my mate Danny Midwinter, very good actor. He knows a big guy by the name of Joe Egan. Joe Egan's a very good friend of him, a very good friend of his, and them, as I say, they're both actors, you know what I mean? So I got hold of Danny, I said, oh, I'd love to meet Joe, you know. It'd be fantastic to meet Joe Egan. Proper fighter, good boxer, Mike Tyson's sparring partner. You know, like, it'd be fantastic to meet him then. He went, leave it to me, I see what I can do. Anyway, I'm going down the gym, I'm starting training again. I'm only doing weights and bits and pieces like that, and I'm on the bag, because at most gyms now I've got bags. I'm on the bag, I'm just, doing bits and pieces. I'm walking, at least 8 miles a day, 9 miles a day with the dog. I'm walking every day just getting myself fit, because I've got some stents in my heart, yeah. But I'm trying to get myself back to normal, and I'm going down the gym every day. I'm walking the dog every day, and I can't wait to see Joe Egan. Do you know what I mean? I really can't wait to see him, because the guy, I've been following this guy for years and years and years. You know what I mean? And he's a big fella, you know. And I'm always talking to Danny Midwinter, and Danny's a big guy. Danny's he's just a natural big shoulders. He's a good actor. He's been in quite a few films. I think he's been in one of the Craig films. He was the detective in the Craig film, one of his Craig films. Nice geezer, man. And he's got a lot of stories, but he won't let me do. He won't let me do a podcast or a video on him. He said, no way. He said, I won't do it that way. He said, no, I won't do it. As easy as that, I won't do it. So anyway, I said, look, what about Joe? He said, listen, you've got to talk to Joe, you know. And Joe comes to Joe. Anyway, what happened, I'm upstairs, the old doorbell goes. I go downstairs, and it's Danny Midwinter, and it's big Joe Egan. I mean, come on, he's massive. He's a giant of a man, you know what I mean? So where I lived in Harrow, they've got this little tiny staircase, and he's walking up the staircase, but he's got to turn sideways because of the big shoulders he's got, yeah? So he goes in front of him, makes him a cup of tea, and I'm talking about the fight when he was sparring with Mike Tyson, and he was telling me that Mike Tyson's a fantastic fighter. He said even with 16 ounce gloves, mate, he could knock your head off easy, mate. I said, and he hit me a few times. He says, and he really hurt me. He said, but I can take a bang, which we know he can, Joe Egan. And he had a massive neck, Joe, big chin, massive face, yeah, big. I mean, Joe, because he was huge. His hands was twice the size of mine, massive geezer. So he was telling me that, he said, when I sparred with Mike Tyson, he said, and after you have 2 or 3 rounds with Mike, you've had 2 or 3 rounds, you know what I mean? Your ribs are hurting you and this, and he said he's very good at bobbing the weave. He come up with the uppercuts, right, and he bobs the weave, comes over the top. He uses his weight, come over bang. He's never just throwing a punch. He always uses the weight, to come over with, he said. And he said you can learn a lot from Mike. He said, but after you've sparred with Mike so many times, you get to learn. You get to learn the way he's coming in and what he does. But if he hits you, he hurts you, mate. He does hurt you. And it was fantastic to spar with Mike Tyson. It's a good CV for me, Ray. You know what I mean? He said I do a lot. He said I go to big clubs. Big venues, and he said I talk. He said loads of people I talk to want to know about Mike Tyson, what he was like in the ring, what is he as a banger, have he hit Mike Tyson on the chin? What sort of person was he like? Did he react? How did he react? And I just telling him he's a fighter. He's a proper man, And if you hit him on the chin, he said he'd come back 10 times worse, and he said, but, that's the idea of the sparring. Anyway, so then he was talking about Lenox Lewis. He said, Lenox Lewis, another one. He said, Lenox Lewis, fantastic way. He had a jab. I mean, his jab was like a piston. And because he's so long, he said, and by the time he brought the arm back, he'd come over with the right hand. Ray. He said it's so long, the punch, yeah? As he come through, bomb, bang, he come with the right, and he said, fantastic banger, Lenox Lewis. People don't realise, but he is a good banger. He said between Mike Tyson and Lenox Lewis, there's not a lot of difference in the way this geezer bangs. And I was talking about if they ever, like Mike Tyson and Lenox Lewis ever fought. Yeah, I don't think Mike Tyson at that time had fought Lenox. I'm not quite sure now, I can't remember. But he was just telling me that he believes that Mike Tyson would lose against Lenox Lewis. Lenox Lewis is a fantastic fighter, right? He's a fantastic fighter, and he's going to be good. He's a good heavyweight title holder at that time, yeah. And anyway, so like he's one of them guys, Joe, that's not flash. He's not flash, mate. He's just a normal guy. But I'll tell you something about Joe, that he isn't into the gangsterism side of things. Even though he comes from Ireland, he was an Irish champion, but he's not involved in any gangsterism whatsoever. You talk about it, and he can't believe it. He's sitting there amused, He went, he just can't believe the way you talk to him, you know what I mean? And when you talk to him, he's going, wow, like, he just can't believe it. And he was telling me that that he's done quite a lot of films, and he said a lot of the films he's done, a lot of gangsterism films and all that, is extras he's been in, and all that. And he said that it's good to be in them, but to actually talk to someone who is or was a gangster, and what you've done, all the armed robberies you've done, and the people you've hurt, and you was an enforcer, it fascinated him, and the way he talked to me, he talked about, you should write a book, Ray. You should write a book. He said, you write a book. He said, you're going to get plenty of work out of the book. He said, like, people love them sort of stories, He said, they really, really do. And he said that you should get into it. And I didn't at that time, I didn't have anybody around me to help me to write a book. As such, you need money, and I'm very lucky to be around this guy, Terry Haley now, that's put so much money into my book and time and effort into my book, yeah. He's such a nice guy. And I love for Joe, I'm going to get hold of Danny again and get Joe to come down to Danny's when Terry's there and meet him. Yeah, he'd love to meet him, mate. Terry Howley would love to meet Joe Egan. He's a proper guy, Joe Egan, and he's someone that I love to talk to, Joe. And anyway, we're all sitting there having a cup of tea and talking. All of a sudden Joe went, do you know what, I've said this before, but it's a story. Joe said, I want something to eat. I'm really hungry. So I said, what do you want, mate? He said, do you want me to make you sandwich? He said, no, I want something like fish and chips or pie and chips or something. I said, there's a chip shop not far from here. He said, let's sit down. He said, just come on down, we'll go and get some. So whilst I was gone, I tidied up a little bit, and anyway, they come in a great big bag, massive bag, full of fish and chips, and sauces and bits and pieces and cokes and all that. He had, I think it was 10 or 8 pieces of fish, Joe, loads and loads of chips on a plate. Well, not on one plate, on about 3 plates actually. Mate, this geezer can eat. He's a big man, do you know? He's got to be 19, 20 stone, maybe even more than that. It was massive, yeah? And I said to him, mate, where did you put that, Joe? You know what I mean? And I had 2 pieces, Danny had 2 pieces. And I didn't want Joe to go. I didn't want Joe to go. But he was talking to me about his life and what it was like in Ireland, and he said it wasn't easy in there, mate. It's a hard place, Ireland, some really, really hard men. He said, and I was brought up to fight. He said, I was brought up to look after myself because of that. There was lots of people, a lot of fighters in Ireland. He said, but I wasn't involved in any gangsterism. He said, I've done a film with Sherlock Holmes film, Sherlock Holmes. He said, there's a lot of gangsterism in that film, And he said, it's fascinating to be involved in a film where there's that sort of thing, gangsters and guns and all that. He said, and Sherlock's own film was about all that. And he said, you know, he said, and he said to me, he said, gangsterism fascinates me. He said, I do lots of talks, as I told you before, lots of talks and all that, but a lot of people have asked me when I go to my talks, was you ever involved in any gangsterism, any enforcer work? And he just says, no, I've never been involved in it. That's not my cup of tea. I was more of a fighter. I was just a fighter. I mean, I used to go collect money, but not as an enforcer. I'm not enforcing people, just my size, I suppose, that could make people give the money to me, yeah? He said, but as far as gangsterism is concerned, that isn't me. So, anyway, Danny and Joe left. And I mean, I was gutted really that he left Joe, but when he walked down the stairs, he had to walk sideways. I swear on my life. He had to walk sideways, a big guy, his feet were about size 15, mate. He's got massive feet as well. But he went, yeah, and recently I've been in touch with Danny Midwinter again, just to have a chat to him, and I wanted him to see if he could get hold of Joe Egan again, to come down, because my mate Terry Haley, the one who's put all this money up for a book, because Joe Egan was fascinated with my stories, yeah. He said to me, Ray, he said, seriously, mate, you got to get him to some sort of a film or something like that, or series. He said, but if you write a book, he said, so I can read that book, the things you've done over your life. He said, you're going to get work, mate. He said, you will get work. He said, because I've never ever read a book like yours. Well, not like yours, but I never will read a book like the book you're going to read. You're going to, sorry, you know, I'm like first thing, like a book you're doing, yeah? He said, because what you're just telling me now about what you've done, talking about prison, what's happened to me in prison, the things that happened to me as a kid, the amount of things I've done, you know, and you forget, you know, you sit down and you start talking, and it goes on and on and on. It goes on for quite a long time. Your stories, you know. And Joe liked some of the stories that I was telling him about prison. When I told him the one about me being segregated for X amount of time, and not seeing daylight for X amount of time, and being jabbed up all the time, and losing so much weight, like 10 stone or whatever I lost in such a short time. He couldn't believe it, mate. He was fascinated. He said, that's a story, mate. You know what I mean? I'm fascinated. Don't forget, I've been out about what? Sorry. Oh, sorry. It's gone. Sorry. Pardon me. Anyway, I've been out about what? I don't know, really. About 5 years. And I was telling them about the robbery that I was on, the one with the mobile phones, and knocking cars up in the air and all this, that and the other. And he couldn't believe it, mate. He said, right, he said, that's a film. He said, that's a film by itself, you know what I mean, mate? He said, you've only got to get this going, mate. It's a film by itself, just about the robberies alone. He said, about all of whatever you've done, whatever else you've done. I mean, you haven't told me everything, but I bet there's some stories in there, you know, and there is. I've got stories that so many stories about my life. Sorry, what I've done, you know. It's just absolutely crazy. It's madness, you know. And sometimes I think, am I still alive? Am I still around? You know, I've been shot at so many times. I mean, my father-in-law, you know, he shot at me, what, 2 or 3 times, the old man, you know, and my father-in-law, and he was a proper bad man, mate. Do you know what I mean? He's a proper bad man. I mean, if he'd have had 2 eyes, he had 1 eye, yeah. If he'd had 2 eyes, he definitely would have killed me. He definitely would have killed me, but, you know, and being that I was with his daughter made it even worse, you know, made it even worse that he didn't care. He didn't care about me being the father of the father to Danny's kids, or married to his daughter. He didn't care. All he wanted to do, the old man, was kill me, you know. and you know, listen, it goes back a long way, mate. It goes back, stories go back a long way, things you wish you'd never done. I mean, because I think a lot of it was because I was on coke really, really bad. I was also on steroids really, really bad. Them two don't go together. Cocaine and steroids don't go together at all. And a lot of people out there, a lot of bodybuilders out there, take that mixture. A mixture, mate, it's no good. Coke and my nose is running, man. Coke and steroids ain't good at all, mate. Ain't good. The damage it's done over the years, you know, to people. The damage it's done to me. I mean, when I was on coke, mate, I was on roids. I was doing such stupid things and hurting people, like just madness, just hurting people for no reason whatsoever, really. You know what I mean? Because I could, you know, and then being involved with some really nasty people, working for them as well. My best mate at that time was Mickey Gooch. Me and Mickey was like brothers, you know. And when he owned, well, at that time I think he leased it, Blondes, and when he had Blondes, you could, I mean, you know, you could go in there with him, and it was just unbelievable that the guy owned his club, Blondes, and it was a proper club. And I walked in there was no problems about going in there. And the guy behind the jump was a guy called George Best, the footballer, and he made him a manager of his club. What a manager to have, George Best as a manager of a club. Well, it was a club, bar, Blondes, you know, just on Regent Street. I mean, come on, it was like crazy, beautiful club, really nice club. Not, look at me, Regent Street, just by, anyway, a lot of people in there know what I'm talking about, Blondes, yeah? And when Mickey used to take me to all the other clubs, and a couple of times we met George Best at Brown's, you know, and George Best, nice geezer, man, another Irish guy, and I talked to George Best about Joe Egan, and he was talking to me about it, the way he talked. Oh, Jesus, you know, like he said, Joe Egan was a fighting man in Ireland. He was one of the hardest men ever to live, he believes. The hardest white guy ever to live, he believes. He said Joe Egan was the governor of Ireland. They said no one fuck with Joe, no one. This is George Best. George Best, the footballer. Well, how about, you know what I mean? It's just the amount of people that I've met over the years through other people is crazy. You know, to think that you're talking to George Best, a footballer. I don't know, did he play for Manchester? I don't know who he played for. You know, I'm not into football. I hate football. But, I mean, if people are now watching this and go, George Best, what? He played for so-and-so. He was a fantastic footballer, right? You know what I mean? But he was played out then, you know. But he, as I say, he run Blondes for Mick. And Giz was just a gentleman, mate. He was just a nice guy. Listen, it's a shame. It's a shame that these footballers get that much money, right? And don't know really what to do with it. We're all the same. I used to have lots of money myself, and you don't know what to do with it, you know. But the only, I mean, people obviously buy big houses, loads of cars, you know, and have big holidays, buy loads of clothes, jewellery and all that sort of thing, you know what I mean? And it soon goes, mate, if you don't invest it properly. My mate Terry Haley, big company, he's got big scrap company, you know, invest all that money he's ever got, he puts back into into the firm. He's got a massive house. Yes, he's got a big house, you know, and he's entitled to get that. Was it 7 million? The house, 5 million, I don't know. and it's massive, massive swimming pools, jacuzzis, big fucking ball dogs. You wouldn't want to go in the house, but you wouldn't because he'd try and get in his house, mate. He's got these dogs that are like lions. I swear, I know I'd keep jumping to jump. When I went, Terry said, come on, take it. He said, when I first met Terry, he took me to his house, yeah. And it's twice as big as what it was, yeah. But it's not flash. You look at the guy, you would never think he's got what he's got. He's not flash, he don't wear outstanding clothes or nothing like that. Pair of tracksuit bottoms, trainers, t-shirt, and that's him, mate. Got beautiful cars though. At that time, I think he had about, 20 cars? But proper, fucking from Bentleys to Rollers to Aston Martins to Jensens, he had everything. Mustangs, he had everything, mate. But not new ones. In the 60s, worth money, mate, lots of money. And he's got this Aston Martin Vantage, as you call it, a Vantage. And what's that, 300 odd grand? 300 odd grand for a car. It's crazy, isn't it? It's mad. He's got two of them. He's got one convertible and one non-convertible. Two. He's got a couple of Rollers, a couple of Bentleys, he's got a few other police cars. And he's got a terrific police car. I mean, the car, he's got a police car, yeah. It's the V8 Rover, and it's the business. And when he bought it, when they delivered it to the house, when they delivered it to the house, I could not believe it. We opened the boot up, and in the boot is everything. The only thing that wasn't in there was the guns. This is all the police stuff. And I went, I ain't even going to touch it today because I got nicked for that. Like I was SO19 when I got nicked, you know what I mean? Personating the SO19 police officers, and my mates were cussing exercise, and there's all that stuff in the boot. I said, I ain't touching any of that, But when he took me around the cars, not flash, mate. No, the geezer's just a gentleman. Anyway, so when I went in the house, his kitchen at that time, he had a V12 Jag in his kitchen, and on the other side, he had the convertible Aston Martin with a number plate POW1, Prince of Wales 1. I mean, the number plate was worth 100 grand. About the car, he's worth 200 grand, 300 grand, I don't know. And he got the V12 in there. And in the front room, this is the kitchen, that's his dining kitchen. He's got that car in it. In the front room, he had a Triumph TR5. I think it was a TR5 or TR4, I'm not quite sure. I don't really know, I'm not into cars, you know what I mean? But as you walk in the house, as you walk in it at that time, he had a Mini Cooper or a Mini Minor from the Italian Job. Fucking hell. It's a joke. It's a joke. And he's got all the, and then he built his couple of garages, right? He's just built a big garage, and he's put another garage, mate. His house is, to look at this guy, and you walk around his house, you never in a million years think that someone like that could put a house together like he has. Mate, he's got 2 bedrooms in his house. He's just put a big extension on. He's got a bedroom, I don't know, must be, what, 30, what I'd say 20 yards long? 20 yards long, or about, I don't know, 10 yards wide. Yeah, I'm joking. He's got a bed like a king would have. His place is unbelievable, mate. But anyway, when I first went to his place, and I went into the kitchen, he got his big doors at the back, massive doors, massive, both sides, massive. And I see this dog. It was, swear to God, if you put a mane around this fucking dog, these dogs, you'd think there was lions. They was big as lions. They got heads like this one, check them out. They're called Borbors. They're South African hunting dogs. They have them in people have them in their places to mind the sheep, you know, and things like that, and the cattle and all that. And they fight lions. These things, not one of them, maybe 2 or 3 together, but they fight lions. These things, and they are like lions, mate. They have got, I think they've got the hardest bite of all dogs. These Borbors. And they're another bull mastiff, like a bull mastiff sort of thing, but they're much bigger than a bull mastiff, and they're much more livelier. They're more agile. I mean, they jump, fucking hell, they jump 8 foot, 9 foot, you know, and the heads. I mean, when I went in there and the garden, right, I was a bit. I'm not fighting the dogs as such yet, but when I see these things come towards you, they run towards you. And the dog was like this, getting the head split, and he's a bit, you know, a bit boisterous. And he's got a thing about biting your ankles, bites your trousers to pull you on the floor, and then he gets on you, yeah? That's how they work. And the bitch, but the dog, he was lovely. He's a lovely dog, mate. I love him a minute, and now he's all right, but he's still got a habit of doing your bottom of your feet. The trousers. The bitch, she's massive. She has got a head like a lion. It's massive, and she don't muck about, mate. She don't muck about. And I said to Terry, what I'm going to do, he said, do you mind if I take him for walks, Tel? Right? He went, yeah, no problem. Worst thing I ever said. Worst thing I ever said. So I took him down his drive, so I could be your, yeah, drive down the bottom of the gate, electric gates open up, and I took him and he got a big walkway, and you go down to a stream at the back of houses, yeah, but the stream's got no water in it that time of year, yeah. In the winter time it's pissing with rain like it has been now, it's a stream, yeah. But it isn't a stream when that particular time. So you're walking down there, it's all cobble, bit stones, everything. But I'm walking down there but I've never been down there before, but I want to know what's at the bottom. So we're walking, and I'm walking the dog first. Let me tell you something. As I was walking down this lane, there's dogs everywhere. Everyone's got dogs, right? But as you're walking down the stream, right? The houses to the left, there's only houses to the left. There is a few to the right as you're going down, but as you're going down by the stream, the houses to the left are the back gardens there. Anyway, as you're going to the houses to the left, but there's a couple on the right and on the left. There's one of these houses has got its Alsatian in it. Right, and this Alsatian has got a long fur Alsatian, yeah? Listen, this Alsatian is going like a lunatic as I'm walking down with this ball. Listen, I swear to God, the Alsatian's going mad at the rate because they've got a fence there, not a fence, they've got sort of like, it is like a fence, you know, to stop him getting out onto the walkway. Listen, I swear to God, my arsehole was gone. I thought, if this Alsatian gets out of there, this ball will eat it for dinner. This ball was going mad. I couldn't hold it, mate. He was going like a lunatic. And I couldn't, and eventually I pulled him down, and now all the houses either side, big out, massive houses, mate. The houses either side, they've gone. Now, go a bit further, there's no all there is to the right is fields, cattle and horses and all that. But to the left, there's the back gardens of houses. What's in the back gardens? Dogs. Dogs. I'm walking down and I see this dog, mate. He came rushing towards us like a lunatic, but the only thing about what pissed me off really was the back door, the back fence, the back gate was open, so the dog could easily come in. It was a Labrador, yeah? And I got the bauble to the right, and this thing's to the left. Listen, this bauble took me, I'm big, 18 stone, 19 stone. This Bobo took me, he threw me towards this Labrador. Mate, this Labrador, I swear, he sort of like stood up on his feet and went, ah! He shot off like a lunatic, mate, you know. And anyway, we walked down and I walked up this hill with the dog. He was pulling me and pissed me off, mate. As I'm walking up this hill, there's this woman got these two Dutch hounds, the little ones, Dutch hounds, and she ain't got them on the lead. And I got mine on the lead, and I know that he's to the edge. Right? I've got him tight to the thing, and he's like, he don't really see dogs because he's protects the house, yeah, but he don't really go out for walks, yeah. But he, you know, anyway. So now he's seen this fucking little dog. I'm saying to this woman, look, can you put your dog on the lead, please, right, for protection of my dog, because this dog just nips my Bobo. This Bobo's going to just eat it like a sausage. He's going to have all of it, yeah. This woman saying to me, you should muzzle your dog. I said, why is that then? She said, because that dog should be muzzled. I said, listen, your dog should be on the lead, love. Because if my dog is on the lead, I'm going by the law. I said, but your dog should be on the lead, because if your dog bites my dog can kill it. It'll kill it stone dead, love. So do me a favour, put your dog on the lead. She went, oh, shouting all of it. So she walked down there without the dog on the lead. Them sort of people really piss you off, yeah? So I walk up the hill, we're walking all round. I mean, he's loving it, yeah? Because he's never really been out, this dog. He's loving it, mate. He's over the moon, right? So I'm taking him back now to where he's got to go. And I'm taking him back. He don't want to go back, mate. He does not want to go back, but he's never been out for ages. He's never been out for, I think my mate's got him. So as he's walking up the hill, he's collapsing on the floor. He's tired, yeah, because he don't go out. But anyway, I eventually got him. He doesn't want to get off the lead. He does not want to go. He doesn't want me to go. He wants me to keep holding him, taking him for more walks. But I have to clip the lead and take the bitch out. The bitch's neck is nearly twice as big as this. It's a dog, because the dog's a puppy. So I put this thing on her and I'm taking her out. But you can stop her and stroke her and love her. She's beautiful. So she has got a temperament. She's beautiful. But if she turned, mate, with that big head and them teeth, she'd really, yeah. But I made friends with her, yeah. As I'm walking down the hill and the gate opens up, I just do a right to go. She pulled me on the floor. She pulled me on the floor within seconds. She got me and pulled me on the floor. She pulled me on the floor, like, she just cuddled me, mate, and licking me all over. Like, cuddled me and licking me, right? And I think, oh, love her right, man. Love her right, she's beautiful, you know what I mean? Same thing, the same, listen, let me just, end it there, because I've got to go out. I just got a phone call just come through my phone, and I know who it is. So it says Bang Bang Rail. If you like it, please subscribe. Yeah, have a nice day, yeah, bye-bye. I'll tell you the story, more of a story later today, yeah, bye.